What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. So we are back today for another video. It is Friday night. My bad. It is Saturday night. Feels like Friday. I'm losing track of the days, guys. This is what happens when you get old. You lose track of days. Saturday night. Just got off work. I'm tired, guys. I want to Netflix and chill real bad. I really just want to chill and do nothing. But I got to make a video for you guys, and I got to go to the gym, or else it's going to be game over. Anyways, this is my Twitter page. In case you guys aren't already following me on Twitter, what are you waiting for? You just click right here. You follow. I post daily. I respond pretty quickly. If you guys got any questions, if you have a topic that is on your mind, this is the best place to put it. We can see it, we can discuss it. And as well, when I go to the gym, if there's something good on Shark Tank, I show you guys. And then when I get my dividend payment, you guys can see them as well. And I can show you guys kind of how dividends work and how you get paid out. It's pretty simple. And right now we are at 432 followers. Thank you for everybody who has followed. Really do appreciate that. All right, let's continue. All right, so I have been keeping an eye on the whole stock information as well as the stimulus check that potentially could be coming. And at this point in time, there's a lot that we just don't know. I know, guys, what's new, right? A lot we don't know. What's new? Anyways, these articles are recent, so I'm gonna go over with you guys to see if we have any sort of indicator for what to expect in the upcoming weeks before the election. It's crazy. I say upcoming months, but now we're weeks away from the election. Second, stimulus check. Update on bug economic relief bill. Hopes of Congress being able to pass a bug bill before the U.S. election have been rekindled with new talks of fresh Democratic proposals. So that's the one thing I've been hearing. The Democrats have a potential new proposal that they are planning on releasing, and that could maybe help jumpstart the process of getting more stimulus checks coming out sooner than later. Now, in case you guys have not heard, Donald Trump has nominated Amy Coney Barrett to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and that's really, really big news. I have a couple articles on it here. I'll go over why that is big. So he has nominated her to take place of Ginsburg. Congress is still deadlocked as Democrats and Republicans joust for supremacy over finer points of the new bill. A second round of checks for hard-hit Americans. With talks at an impasse during a summer of uncertainty for tens of millions of Americans, the Democrats are planning to table a new proposal for a fresh relief package next week. And this article, like I've said, is fresh. It just came out today. So potentially next week we could have another proposal for the package. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said she is willing to reopen negotiations with the White House. Republicans are eager to reduce the strain of federal coffers and have not made any proposal above the 1.3 trillion mark, while Democrats have lowered their expectation from $3 billion laid out in the HEROES Act. So there you have it, guys. That's the big distinction, the big issue we're still having. Republicans don't want to go more than 1.3 trillion, but Democrats, they want around 3 trillion because that's what we had in the HEROES Act, but they're probably going to have some type of compromise and meet up in the middle if a check is to be passed. A package that could give us checks. We have to wait and see. Pelosi consistently pointed out that Democrats have offered to meet the Republicans halfway, so about 2.4 trillion in total, which is a lot of money, guys, but that's kind of where they're at with the negotiations at the moment. And one angle these guys could take is, think about it, the elections are coming up in a few months, so if the Democrats have a package and Republicans agree, it will make the Democrats look good going into the election season. It could give Biden a boost. If the Republicans pass a bill, the Republicans could look good and it'll help Trump get a boost. Those are things to consider as we are weeks away from the election, and it's going to be complete chaos. Regardless of who wins, what happens, it's going to be chaotic. So just be prepared, plan accordingly. Hopefully you have something in your savings to save something. I know savings accounts don't pay well, but you have to have at least something built up at least for 6 months to a year. Talk to an expert in your area and find out what strategy works best for you. I have usually about 6 or 12 months saved up in case things go crazy. Anyways, the main issues. So they want funding for states and local governments, schools, hospitals, and more testing for the bug, as well as liability protection for employers, a U.S. Postal Service bailout, and unemployment benefits, all proving to be sticking points in reaching an agreement thus far. Agreement over stimulus check, but relief bill at an impasse. So both sides basically want to have those $1,200 checks because people like them. It was Whether or not you think it was good or bad, it helps both sides look good, and people who are unemployed, they don't have jobs, they still couldn't find a job, because even though a lot of those jobs that were lost in March and April were recovered, there's articles that say that there's still a lot of people who are unemployed, and going into election season, you want to try to help people who are unemployed get those votes, get into power. We know how this story goes. GOP accuses Dems of holding up relief until after the election. Republicans in the Senate this month also failed with a $500 billion skinny relief package, which did not include the second check. After the proposal was blocked by Democrats in a vote, the Democrats have consistently opposed what they call piecemeal legislation and are holding out for a comprehensive bill. So that makes sense. They don't want to have some skinny bill. They want to go all out and get something passed. Republicans capitalized on the defeat of their own bill to accuse the Democrats of trying to avoid passing economic relief before the presidential and congressional elections. Mitch McConnell tweeted, "No help for American families before the election." And just to be clear, he's saying that's the goal of the Democrats. Is their goal is clear, that they don't want to help the Americans. Like I said, both sides are going to be pointing fingers, and we're going to see what Nancy does. Nancy might come to the rescue and do something. Now let's continue on here. What are 7 big takeaways that we have so far about the potential check and what you should know? There's a lot to know about the payments from the first one to the next, but we'll keep it simple. That's good, guys. The more simple, the better, because things get kind of complicated. Everybody wants to give you another check. Yep, everybody wants to give another check. Stimulus check is also expected to be a new and smaller rescue bill Pelosi has instructed Democrats to draft. The House of Representatives could vote on the new proposal October 2nd, which is about a week away, give or take. Actually, it is just about a week away. You won't pay taxes on stimulus money, which I know a lot of people have been asking. I've been seeing it from other videos, comments, Twitter. Are you going to have to pay tax on the money that you get from the stimulus? And the answer is no. You're obviously not going to pay tax on it. You're not going to be penalized, nothing. You basically just keep the money and use it on whatever you need to pay for your bills and all that good stuff. The IRS could speed up the process, so this is something that could be important. Mnuchin said, "I could get out 50 million payments really quickly and start making payments a week after a bill is signed. We mapped out how quickly a new check could come." So that first check that was passed out, a lot of people had to wait. It was delayed. You had to go online. The portal was down. All that stuff, all that junk we dealt with before, potentially now will be good, right? Because they got it figured out the first time. It's all ironed out. So now the second time, they can kind of figure out what they're doing, and hopefully we'll be good if they're going to pass a second check. Eligibility rules could change to your advantage. Your adjusted gross income, or AGI, plays a huge role. People who aren't required to file taxes either because they receive federal benefits or are below the level of income that required could also get a check. In the first check, children under 16 counted for $500 apiece toward the total check, but did not receive their own money. IRS has a plan for those who receive a check first. They basically just break it down how they do it: direct deposit, paper check, and the prepaid debit card, which I'm actually still trying to see what that thing looks like and if it worked. I haven't heard anybody tell me about the prepaid debit card. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys know anybody who got a prepaid debit card and did it work? Did they have any issues? Payment details can get complicated fast. We already think we know how much money you could get, so it depends obviously on your income level, if you have kids, all that good stuff. Let's continue on here. This is going to be from MSN News. 7 biggest takeaways from them. Let's see if they kind of match up to what I just read before. You won't pay tax. Yep. So it's the exact same article, guys. So we're not even going to go over it. We're just going to skip it. And as of September 26th, the number for the bug worldwide, 32 million people who have passed, almost a million. Recoveries, 22 million. US, we got 7 million cases, 204,000 people who have passed away, and almost 2.8 million recoveries. So the numbers are still rising, and that's a lot of people, unfortunately, who have lost their lives due to this thing. If it caused it, if it was part of it, like I said, I don't know the details. I know there's different metrics for how they measure this thing, but just keeping it simple based on the figures from Johns Hopkins University is what we got. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. September sell-off, a healthy correction or the start of a new bear market? That's a good point too. So if you guys have been checking your portfolios, it's probably in the red. You're probably down quite a bit this month. I know I'm down quite a bit, and people that I've been talking to, their portfolio is also down quite a bit. But like I said, in the long term, usually things pan out, but right now we're kind of in the red at the moment. Value is still lagging growth. Tech companies are kind of getting an adjustment. If you guys have seen, Apple has kind of been getting hit a little bit, and big companies like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, I don't own them, so I'm not really focused on those companies. It just does not fit my strategy. It does not mean that they are not good companies. Also, the U.S. elections are going to have a big part in everything that's going on. U.S. fiscal stimulus progress stalls. Yeah, Congress basically has been on vacation. They can't figure out what they want to do, which is something that we're going to have to deal with. Without a second stimulus package, U.S. consumer income will likely drop. Now, what's interesting, though, let me point this out. So people are saving more, right? Because obviously we got a lot of craziness, a lot of uncertainty, so people are in fear. So people are saving their money. Now, what does the Fed do? You want people to spend money, right? Spending money helps the economy. I like investing in the economy, not spending the money. But the savings rate has dropped. If you guys have not checked your savings rate as of recently, I would advise you to check it. Because for me, I have an online banking account which pays significantly better than the 0.1% you're going to get at most banks. But it has been dropping quite a bit within the past months, years, recently. I would advise you to check it out. But people are saving more. They want you to spend more. Therefore, the rates drop, savings rate drops, which encourages people to go spend and not keep money saved because you're basically losing value. So it puts you kind of in a tough spot right now. But like I said, talk to an expert and see what you want to do. Stimulus update: 5 potential outcomes from Forbes.com. Option 1, Congress could reach a deal before the election. Option 2, Congress agrees on a stimulus bill, but President doesn't sign the bill. Option 3, the Senate and House each pass smaller stimulus deals. Option 4, the President takes executive action, which seems like that could be, if Trump just had an executive order where he said people would get checks. I don't know if he can even do that, but if he did, you guys think that would help his re-election chances? I think they definitely would if he can get something passed. Congress doesn't pass a deal. Option number 5. What do you guys think is going to be the most likely option here? I'm guessing, if I had to predict, something is going to get passed. I just think with all the craziness going on, I'm predicting Congress is going to reach a deal. It's not going to be the $3 trillion. It's not going to be $1 trillion. It'll be 2.4. Each side is going to have to take a step back from things that they want, but they're going to pass something because obviously people need the help and they want to get reelected. It's election year. All right, next thing here. Democrats to redraft bug bill in bid to jumpstart negotiations. This is from the Chicago Tribune. Everyone's favorite Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Chamber passed $3.4 trillion in May, but Republicans dismissed the measure as bloated and unrealistic. Democrats cut their ambitions back by $1 trillion, yada, yada, yada. But, like I had mentioned earlier, the Democrats are drafting up something next week. They're probably going to bring it forward and vote on it. Whether or not it gets passed, we're going to have to wait and see what's in that bill. We're going to have to see what version these guys want to have and where they're going to go with it. We are still striving for an agreement, Pelosi told her colleagues. If necessary, we can formalize a request by voting on it on the House floor. So we are still striving for an agreement. The recent talks between Pelosi and Mnuchin have gone nowhere, but neither side wants to officially give up. Republicans react coolly, especially at the prospect of a partisan floor vote, if the effort doesn't spark constructive talks. Alright guys, so in case you haven't heard, Mark Cuban has a proposal as well. Every household in America should receive 1,000 stimulus check every 2 weeks for the next 2 months. What do you guys think of that one? Is this something that you would be interested in? $1,000 every 2 weeks for the next 2 months. So additional $4,000 per, that's going to cost a lot, yeah. I don't think it's going to be happening, but if you guys have heard, Mark Cuban has said he doesn't want to run for president, so maybe he is kind of getting some public attention just in case in the future, after this election, if he wants to run, depending on who wins. People remember, oh, Mark Cuban was trying to help people out by proposing that we should have something like this, and that could help him out. So that's something that we got to look at going forward. If you want Mark Cuban as your president, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. All right, now I got a few more things, and then we're going to wrap this up. This is from Boston News. Pelosi calls for bid to fund restaurants, airlines, unemployment, and stimulus checks. So this basically confirms what I was telling you guys earlier. We are striving for an agreement in addition to unemployment, help for airlines, restaurants, And stimulus checks, the legislation is likely to include aid to local and state governments, a sticking point for Republicans, money for small business, rental assistance, and funds for election security, and the U.S. Post Office. The Post Office has been a hot topic that they're trying to get funded to help people vote via mail if people want to vote via mail, but people on the right are saying that there's going to be a lot of fraud and all that good stuff. That's what Trump was saying, and some Republicans do share the same sentiment about what he was saying. We'll have to see if that gets passed. Let's see what else we got here. Mnuchin said that he wants to pass this thing too. I don't think we need comprehensive relief. Thursday before the Senate, I'm available anytime. It shows again she's not serious about getting a relief bill. She's just playing politics. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. And what's really sad about this is it's hurting the American public. Now, the last thing here before we call it a day, Trump nominates Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court. This is her right here, guys. This is from Boston 25 News. So why is this big news? She is more conservative leaning. She would likely replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg if confirmed by the Senate. She's only 48 years old. It would bring youth and a conservative philosophy that could impact the nation's highest court for decades. She would also give Republican appointees a 6-3 advantage on the Supreme Court. This is a very proud moment indeed, Trump said. I know that you will make our country very, very proud. Now, I don't know too much about her background. Maybe I'll make a video breaking down her political views and how she's ruled on certain things. But just to keep things brief, she was under Antonin Scalia, which a lot of people like, a lot of people dislike. So if that gives you kind of an idea, she was basically trained by him and she was a mentor. And that's kind of the extent of what I know about her at the moment. And she would be the youngest person on the Supreme Court. So 48 years old. So 48? Yeah, 48 years old. So that's pretty young, guys, under 50 years old. Justice Ginsburg began her career at a time when women were not welcome in the legal profession, but she not only broke glass ceilings, she smashed them. And that's basically what she said. What was her name? Barrett. Barrett said in her acceptance speech, she loves the U.S., she loves the Constitution, and she paid tribute to Ginsburg. I'm truly humbled by the prospect of serving on the Supreme Court. So there you guys have it. And it seems like both sides kind of like her from what I'm seeing and reading. I'll do my very best to show you that I'm deserving of your support, Barrett said. So she was born in 1972. The oldest, okay, this just gives her background of all that good stuff. Barrett is the best student, the smartest and most talented person to ever come through the University of Notre Dame Law School. Carter Sneed, a professor at Notre Dame Law School, told the Chicago Sun-Times. So there you guys have it. So this is why this is an important thing, right? I told you guys in the beginning of the video. Now, we're going to have a lot of cases that are going to be coming down, right? A lot of cases. For example, regulations for businesses, oil companies, social issues as well, the Second Amendment, religious belief laws, all this stuff that people value that is important. These are things that are going to be decided, and we're probably going to have more conservative-leaning views. Whether or not I think that's good or bad, you're the judge. You guys decide. I'm just here to give you guys the facts. But that's where we're headed, and who knows how things are going to be shaped going forward with her views and the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Which that's one of the reasons why, guys, that the election of 2016 was so important, because besides obviously being the president, 2 Supreme Court justices got replaced, and then a third one, which people anticipated was going to happen for Ginsburg. She was not having the best health and all that good stuff. 3 Supreme Court judges you don't really hear during a presidency, but that's kind of what ended up happening. And that obviously is going to shape the future. Imagine if we had 3 more liberal leaning judges. Obviously it's going to sway the way we're going to vote on things and different rules and laws and how it's going to affect society. So these decisions are huge. The Supreme Court justice nominations, all that good stuff. Amy Coney Barrett. Like I said, if you guys want a breakdown of her past views, I can give a whole comprehensive video on that. I might do that, but that's going to take a lot of research and time, so something to consider. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the video. As always, if you're not subscribed, don't subscribe, and if you like the video, don't forget to like. Until next time, peace.